The infected of Dying Light 2 have evolved quite a lot since the events of the first game, with it being over 20 years since the events of the following. Now the infected have mutated even more from the chemicals dropped by the GRE and government, leaving open many secrets to talk about, which is the topic of today's video. Overall, there's quite a wide variety with their own abilities to make them all stand out, of course, leaving the volatile still as the alpha from what we've seen. Many of the infected roaming are simply just biters, which are virals decaying from the sun, slowing down their movements until they can no longer operate. And with some of these infected, there's a few variants which are just for looks, but some may have capabilities of their own. In this new image recently released, it gives us a better angle at the overgrown city streets from Aiden's view, which we've seen a different side of before. We have Hakon here, possibly training with Aiden after the events of the hospital mission, since we have our biomarker. Here we can see a few different infected with this black tar skin covering their bodies, probably being a biter or viral of some sort. Down below into the depths of the darkness, a place you definitely don't want to fall into, we can see another one of these infected with the weird black tar skin. Because it's a photo, we can't really tell if they're biters or virals, but it's best to believe they're a variant of some sort, possibly being armor caused by the chemicals, or similar to looking to the volatile armor from the first game. This also could be when a viral is transforming into a volatile, but there's really no way of telling right now. It also could just be burnt. To me personally, I look at it like it has an outside shell of armor that in-game it'll take an extra few hits to take down and maybe shut off, but that's just my take on it. Down there we also see a goon, very similar looking to one of the ones we've seen before. Also two other infected, one looking like it has its ribcage out with a helmet, another standing in almost a human stance. We can also see a few of what I call the Snatcher in this picture, which many think is a mutation of the Toad from Dying Light 1 due to the spit that flows out of their mouth. There's really not much more info on these guys besides they may end up being common to the world due to how much we've seen them, or they could just be protecting a nest which is down into the darkness. Or they can just end up being another mutation of the biter or viral. A while back I talked about these dead space looking infected, which we can now identify a few of, with one being the Banshee and one next one being very similar to the infected here, with its crouched over position and a big sack on its back. At night, all these mutated bubbles glow, which looks pretty awesome so far in my opinion. Really helps them make them stand out in the darkness. I personally don't like making a video on just one picture, but this one really stood out to me, as we haven't seen a ton of this downtown area so far. Hopefully this also means Hakon will last farther into the game, because honestly, deep down, I'm looking at him like he's the Raheem of Dying Light 2. If you know, you know. I am curious what happens if we decide not to side with the Night Runner faction, since with Hakon, that's where we get our biomarker. Maybe we meet Hakon, then we go through the bizarre stuff and the hospital stuff, and then we are introduced to the rest of the Night Runners that are dying off. So, I don't know, I'm just trying to connect the cycle. There's things I want to talk about, but I just don't think it's worth making a video of its own, so sometimes I like to get off topic and theorize a bit. But anyways, that's gonna be all for today. If you want to hear more information, go check out my last video on the infected mutations, as we get specific descriptions for most of the infected we'll come across. So feel free to comment your thoughts, like the video and subscribe, and of course stop by next time if you want.